Because apparently I've been rambling on and no sound was working. I basically... Oh my god, that's like embarrassing. Yeah, I basically rambled on for like 30 minutes and no one heard anything. All right, guys. I apologize for the stream. Apparently, it wasn't working. So I've been rambling on for a half hour, and no one heard anything. So I guess I gotta repeat myself. Alright, so I'm probably not going to be able to say everything that I said the first time, but I'll just go through this right now. We're going to just make sure that y'all can hear me, because that was quite awkward. So... before we get started here, again. So, yeah, okay, we can hear. I can hear you. All right, guys. So, we're gonna probably put this up a little bit. Hope you guys can hear it. So, like I said, we have some big breaking news. We got some big breaking news. Shockwaves are everywhere. And, since no one heard everything I said last time, we'll try to just reword it as best we can. So, we have some breaking news. Vince McMahon has retired from the WWE as the chairman and CEO officially today. He put out the tweet. It's shocking. I didn't think this day would ever come, knowing that I've been watching wrestling since I was 6. 30 now. Wanted to be a wrestler one day. Didn't exactly go down the way I wanted it to. But, nonetheless, this is definitely shocking news, to say the least. So, prior to Vince McMahon tweeting out, and I had to double check, all this on the dirt sheets are reporting this now, but I wanted to double check to make sure what was going on. And they're all confirming it. That Vince McMahon has retired. Now, about 3-4 hours before Vince announced his retirement, they announced that Triple H would be involved in the talent relation aspect. Now, Bruce Pritchard was temporarily put in charge of that, but we knew that wasn't going to last for a long time because that's not what he does. I thought this was going to be John Laurinaitis being the fall guy, but obviously that's not the case. And then this bombshell of Vince McMahon announcing that he's leaving. Now, I'm going to do this again because, I mean, I'll never get an opportunity to do this again. So I'm going to read the official article that was put out by Stamford, Connecticut for the WWE. So here's the quote from Vince McMahon's statement. In Vince McMahon's character voice. Keep in mind. As I approach 77 years old, I feel it's time for me to retire as chairman and CEO of WWE. Throughout the years, it has been a privilege to help WWE bring your joy, inspiration, inspire you, thrill you, surprise you, and always entertain you. I would like to thank my family for the mighty contributions to the success. And I would also like to thank all of our past, present, superstars and employees for their dedication and passion for our brand. Most importantly, I would like to thank the fans for allowing us into your homes every week and bring your choice of entertainment. I hold the deepest appreciation and admiration for our generations of fans even love our form of sports entertainment. Our global audience can take comfort in knowing WWE will continue to entertain you with the same fever and dedication and passion as always. I am extremely confident in the continued success of WWE, and I leave our company in capable hands of an extraordinary group of superstars, employees, and executives. In particular, both the chairwoman and co-CEO Stephanie McMahon and co-CEO Nick Khan. As the majority shareholders, I will continue to support WWE in any way I can. My personal thanks to our community and business partners, shareholders, and board of directors for their guidance and support through the years. Then, now, forever, and together. End quote, Vince McMahon. Yes, I had doing Vince McMahon's character voice. So a lot of things to pack in on this, okay? For starters, when he says that he's retiring, he says he's only retiring as chairman and CEO of WWE. Now, some people will say, some normal people will say that, oh, well, this is, it is just that. But to me, I decide this as he's just leaving the business side of this. Vince McMahon, when he was under investigation and stepped aside to let Stephanie be the interim general manager, he flat out said that he'd still be involved in creative. So, this does not say that he won't ever be involved in creative. And as a matter of fact, if you read the thing here, it says, after him saying about Stephanie and Nick Khan being co-CEOs, it says, as the majority shareholder. As in him. He's the majority shareholder. So that means he's still kind of in charge, even though he's retiring. Because he still can, like, kind of object to things. So, there's that. But again, supposedly reports are saying that he's not actually at SmackDown. And also, as we reported, there's also a report that Brock Lesnar has walked out of WWE, which could have major implications for the main event of SummerSlam against Roman Reigns for the WWE Undisputed Championship. So, there's a lot of major implications here, because that's another thing. So, Triple H was announced earlier on as talent relations, then Vince, the bombshell announcement, retiring 4 hours later. Then there supposedly was a board meeting, a extra special board meeting at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's probably over now because it's 6:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But, you know, it's, then after that, you know, the Brock Lesnar thing happened after that. So, reportedly walked out. If Vince is not going to be involved, he walks out. Which might be a good thing for WWE since, you know, honestly, they need to build new stars. But, you know, right now it's not a good thing because he's in the main event. So, this is going to be a big deal. This will be a big deal going forward. And I'm really interested in seeing what they're going to do going forward. Because, like I said, there's a lot of things, you know, when you change over. And Nick Khan, I'm not really... too over ecstatic about Nick Khan. A lot of people think he's a nice guy. Some people say not really. I don't know what's true. But the thing about Nick Khan, Nick Khan so far, to me, in terms of the wrestling business, I think he should be far away from that operation. The streaming stuff, obviously he made a good streaming deal with Peacock. That's what his expertise is. You know, he's a regular businessman. He's not a wrestling business guy. He doesn't have the experience to know how to book the stuff like Vince does. Vince has 40-plus years experience of doing this stuff. And that's the one thing that stands out. So, I have no idea what's going to happen. And, there's going to be some shocking changes, going forward. I don't know where they're going to go, but stuff's going to happen. And, it's shocking, man. It's just, the whole thing. You know, where the company goes going forward. Brock, don't know what's going to happen with him in SummerSlam. What's going to happen with Cody when he comes back? You know, Cody was supposed to be the world champion. He obviously got the injury, and that set him back from winning Money in the Bank. But that was Vince. Vince wanted to make him the champion. Will that still happen under a Stephanie regime? That's going to be another thing. I don't know, because like I said, I don't know what his status is besides that he's no longer going to be the CEO anymore or chairman. Like I said, so reportedly he's not at SmackDown. I don't know how true that is, but that's reportedly that he isn't at SmackDown. Reportedly Brock Lesnar's walked out because he's not there and because of the announcement. So he's still a major shareholder there. So he's still kind of in charge, but not, since he's retiring from his position. That's the biggest issue here. Is like, where does he go? Where does this end? I don't know. It's tough to say. It's tough to say where WWE post Vince McMahon will be. Vince McMahon has owned this company since 1982, when he bought it from his father, Vince Sr. So Vince not like being involved is going to be a big difference. It's going to be a big change. It's going to be a big change from where things used to be. And I don't know exactly what. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen, or what major changes are going to happen. The TV14 thing may have been because of this, because he was leaving. Maybe they had this already set in stone. I don't know. All I know is he's gone. At least from the business point of it. Creatively, he might still be involved in that. Who knows? But this is where it stands right now. Vince McMahon out from the WWE, and at least out from the chairman position. So there's going to be a whole new changes coming now. And, Bruce Pritchard, Kevin Dunn, I don't know if they're going to still be involved. But, in the fold, like I said, it's going to all depend on whether we get clarity on what his retirement actually is. Is it a retirement from just the business operations, like he said in his press release, the CEO and chairman position, or is it for everything? Because it doesn't make that clear. It doesn't say anything about creative in this, which is what he was still doing even when he was under investigation. He was still involved in creative, making the storylines, making the matches, deciding who wins, deciding who loses. That was all him. I don't know how you can't hear me. That's something that needs to be decided. I can hear it. He says the mic is low, but I can hear it. Let's see. Well, I got it up. Yeah, I got it up. I got it up right now. Yeah, it's up all the way. That's desktop audio. We don't need that. I don't know why they can't hear it. You should be able to hear it just fine. He's saying that the mic's low. That's what he's saying. Let's see if this works. Hello, hello. I don't know. I got it all the way up. He's saying that it's down, and I don't know where it is down. Hello? Let's see. Is there a way to test it? I didn't mean to do that. Why does it keep clicking that? Alright, hold on. Let me just... I can't check it on there. That's the problem. Well, like I said, it's interesting news because I don't know where the company goes from here. Oh, it's on there. I don't know where the company goes from here. It's going to be a big change. This is changing of the guard, so to speak. So where do we go from here? Well, wherever I guess Stephanie wants to go, depending on what happens with Triple H or Stephanie and Nick Khan and what they're doing, if they're actually really in charge or if this is a PR thing, I don't know. If Vince is still involved in creative. If Vince is still involved in creative, then it's going to be one of those things. If Vince McMahon is still involved in creative, I got to like raise my voice for people to hear me. If Vince McMahon is still in creative, then that is where it's going to go because Vince is still going to be in charge of the wrestling operations of it. If Nick Khan, Stephanie are involved, they're going to do their own thing. Well, now that Vince really isn't involved, it might get sold. I said Vince McMahon was the biggest hurdle from that for the company ever getting sold. I don't think Disney will ever get it because Disney is, they're not involved in that type of stuff. That's not what they really want. So I don't think that's what's going to happen. Jeez. Fucking raise my voice for people to fucking hear me. I don't think that Vince McMahon, with him and the hurdles, it's going to go well. It's he was the biggest hurdle. And now that it appears that he is no longer involved, it's going to be much harder for them not to sell the company. Because, Nick Khan's going to want that being sold. Now, Stephanie McMahon being involved might not allow that to happen. Stephanie McMahon being involved might not allow that happen. Because she probably doesn't want it to be sold because she knows that Vince doesn't want it to be sold. So, and I'm almost certain Triple H wouldn't want it to be sold either. But he's going to have completely different visions for what they're going to do. Just like how Vince McMahon, when he took it over from his father, had a completely different vision than his father did in 1982. His father did not believe in having necessarily the strongest guy ever being the champion. Okay? Well, it's returning at SummerSlam. It's returning at SummerSlam. So, it's returning at the SummerSlam pay-per-view. And it's going to be... That's going to be the moment where it's officially TV-14. Now, where that goes from there with TV-14, I don't know. Hopefully it goes to good things, but who knows? WWE needs to figure their shit out, though, on what they're going to go in a direction for the company with Vince possibly out. Again, I don't know if he's out in creative because they really didn't specify that now. They didn't specify that. They did not specify that was going to be how they were going to run the company. They didn't specify that he was out in creative. Now, we know during the interim basis of Stephanie McMahon being the chairman or chairwoman, that he was still involved in creative. Now, reports are saying that Vince is not there at SmackDown tonight. There's also reports that Brock Lesnar has walked out because of this news. So, that's another thing. Well, we don't know if it's a real retirement. We only know it's is he retiring from all aspects of WWE, or is he retiring from just being the chairman and CEO? That's the question, because in his press release, which I read earlier in Vince McMahon's voice, in his character voice, it does not specify that. So, is he still involved in creative? Because if he's involved in creative, he's going to be still doing the storylines and the matches. So, and who decides who's going to be a world champion? Yeah, and that's going to hurt the SummerSlam main event. And that probably is a good thing long term, because honestly, Brock Lesnar being in WWE has held a lot of the talent back, essentially, from getting major pushes. It held Braun Strowman back from being a massive main star. Braun Strowman, had it not been for Brock, well, Roman primarily, but had it not been for Brock being there, Braun Strowman would have been a multiple-time world champion. The guy had the look, the physique, and he was money. And WWE, Vince McMahon, for whatever reason, since, Vince McMahon is Mr. I want to see muscle men, yet, for whatever reason, he didn't like Braun Strowman. I don't know why, but I never could figure that out. He had the fan reaction that Vince wants. He had the physique and everything that Vince wants in a wrestler, he had with Braun Strowman, and he just screwed him over. He did win it in the he did win the title because Roman backed out for the pandemic, but I mean, it was in front of no crowd, like when he was champion. So, I mean, it is what it is. Braun Strowman got royally screwed over, and, I don't know where they go from here. AEW is not going anywhere. AEW is going to still be fine. Biggest question is Cody Rhodes' push. AEW will not be dead. AEW will just be fine. They're not going anywhere. They have a contract until 2024. Okay? They're not going anywhere. I don't know why people want to see other companies die. When other companies die, that means wrestling gets weaker. WWE got weaker because WCW went out of business. Ever since AEW's been created, it made WWE up their game, even though they still make a lot of questionable decisions. TNA Impact, no, not that I know of. Then again, I don't even think they're really a company anymore, but that's just me. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing about the scandal about Vince McMahon. I don't know why he was forced to step down, or step aside, as they said it. Because Vince McMahon has had so much goddamn controversy over the years. He was indicted by the federal government. He beat the federal government in that. He had another allegation in 1992 about, the Orton guy. I forget what, no, it wasn't Randy. No, obviously not Randy Orton. It was another Orton. It was a different Orton. And he accused Vince McMahon of doing, or not Vince McMahon necessarily, but the people that worked for him, doing things that would be condoned in any era, or condemned in any era. You know, I can't even say the stuff that he was alleged doing in that because it would get me demonetized. But you know, just look up the 1992 scandal. You know what it is that was going on there. But the whole thing with Vince is, see, my whole thing is Vince McMahon going down from this, to me, is probably the least thing that he should have gone down for. You know, he gave hush money to women that were in relationships with him. You know, that's his business with the female person. That's their business. You know, they paid money. You know, that to me is it. It's not a crime. So I don't think he should have gotten penalized for it, so to speak. You know, the WWE has been publicly traded since mid-1999, during the height of the Attitude Era. A lot of people don't realize that, but that's true. They've been a public company since mid-1999. Vince McMahon has had the voting power. He is the major stock owner for WWE for all that time because he was the owner of the company. Okay? The fact that Vince McMahon, okay, had to step down for this, because the board had to have known all the crazy stuff Vince McMahon does because they see him every day. The fact that they had forced him to basically retire, to me, I think all those board members have to retire because they all knew all the crazy shit Vince does, and yet they were okay with it. But now, because he paid women off that he had relationships with, now it's like, oh, now we're going to, like, force him in the... I didn't even think he was going to... I thought Vince was going to fight this like he always does, because Vince, he's a fighter. Like, he doesn't surrender. He literally says that all the time. You know, he said, you know, as long as I, you know, survive, I've won. That's what he says in all his stuff, because when his stepfather or whatever, you know, not Vince Sr., his stepfather from his mother's side, you know, used to beat him up as a kid, he said that, you know, if he survived it, he had won. So to me, I thought that mentality always struck a chord with him to how he operated the WWE. So I thought he was going to fight this tooth and nail, you know, and he was going to get back into power like always. But apparently not. So that's probably the most shocking thing that I stand out from this whole thing, from this whole ordeal, is that Vince McMahon is someone who, you know, is a fighter. And I felt like he's going to fight this. He's never going to sell the company. Maybe it gets sold now because Stephanie and Nick Khan are involved. But Nick Khan, you know, is co-CEO now with Stephanie McMahon. But Stephanie McMahon's the chairman, so she makes the decisions, the main decisions. Here's the thing about this. Nick Khan, okay, to me, Nick Khan, okay, there's a big question mark. Some people say positive things about him. Some people say negative things about him. My whole thing about Nick Khan is what he did a couple months ago with Money in the Bank. Because he was the one who orchestrated to have Money in the Bank in the Raiders Stadium, the Las Vegas Stadium. But they got booted out of there due to low ticket sales. Okay, and so they had to go to a lower venue. To me, that right there concerns me. That, again, he might be a successful businessman, but he's not a successful wrestling guy. That's his biggest issue. He's not a successful wrestling guy. And because he's not a successful wrestling guy, I don't feel confident in him running the shows at all. You know, he makes good streaming deals, you know, because he drives us crazy now with the whole licensing deal with Peacock for the network, because a lot of things are censored in there now. But that would be my biggest concern about the company right now, is what Nick Khan's going to do now that he kind of gets to have a little more say in all of this. Nick Khan, to me, does not have the wrestling aspect to be involved in the wrestling operations of WWE. Business-wise, yes. The wrestling operations, no. So that's going to be the biggest question mark about Nick Khan. Because the fact that he thought Money in the Bank pay-per-view was a Big Four pay-per-view, I don't believe that at all. There is no way that is. There's no way that Money in the Bank is a Big Four pay-per-view. It's WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and the Royal Rumble. That's it. Money in the Bank is not that. So that's my thing about Nick Khan. In terms of Tony Khan, you know, kicking Vince McMahon while he was down, I think that he should not be doing that, because we all know AEW could not go head-to-head with WWE. That's why they have Rampage at 10 o'clock, so they can get the viewers that just finished watching SmackDown. So, to me, Nick Khan's tweet on Vince, you know, him saying, oh, well, now I'm the longest-tending chairman now, you know, bragging about how Vince had to move the Money in the Bank venue, you know, when we all know he couldn't compete against WWE. We know that for sure. He could not compete with WWE, you know, head to head. And I like AEW. I like the wrestling brand, okay? But Tony Khan really needs to, you know, kind of stop with the whole shenanigans, trying to, you know, take shots at WWE. But you know, this is gonna be huge news. I'm trying to figure out if there's anything else that needs to be covered here, or if there's any new development with Brock and all this stuff. Reportedly, Vince is not there, despite, you know, he was still involved in creative. Brock was like, if he's gone, I'm gone. Roman be like, yeah, that's what the reports are, is that Brock Lesnar basically said that if he's gone, I'm gone, which is just shocking in itself, but not really shocking because obviously Vince is the one that pays his wallet. So, but again, it begs the question on whether he actually is retiring, because he's still the major shareholder. He even said that in his press release. He said that in his press release that he is still the major shareholder and that he's going to continue supporting the company. And he also said, you know, nothing about stepping down as creative. So that's the one thing that I'm still like on right now. Is he actually retiring, or is he just retiring from the operation? Like, is he retiring from the business coin of it? But he's still involved in the storylines, the matches, the person that he's booking, the bookings and all that stuff. Is he still involved in that as an on-screen character? And you could still have him, like, as the boss, I guess. Well, I mean, he was still kind of the boss on television. I mean, even though they didn't say he was the chairman anymore, they still came out and everyone still listened to him. They still listened to him, so in a way, Vince is still in charge. If that's the case, if he's still running the wrestling operation of everything. Ruthless Aggression era versus Attitude Era. Attitude Era, 100%. It was much better. Vince McMahon is getting old. That's why he's retiring. No. No, Shadow. He's not retiring because he's getting old. Okay? He would be wrestling until his grave. He would be still involved until his grave if it wasn't for this whole allegation or investigation. It has nothing to do with that. I always thought that Vince McMahon was going to literally pass away with his company. I understand it's his legacy. I guess I get that. Guess I lost that bet. Well, we all lost that bet, but we only lost it because Vince McMahon is leaving because of the allegations, which still shocks me, because nothing he did was criminal. Okay? He had a consensual relationship with someone, and he paid the person off. That is not illegal. All right? It's maybe immoral to some people because he cheated on his wife or whatever, but let's face it, we all knew Vince McMahon had already cheated on his wife long before these allegations. Okay? If you're a wrestling fan, you would have already known that. Okay? Let's face it. Okay? So, that news did not... the news did not shock. The allegations did not shock anybody. That, he had a relationship with a woman. Okay? It was not a shock to any wrestling fan. But everyone kept bombarded about it. Like it was, new shit. When it really wasn't. Okay? Vince McMahon would not be retiring if it wasn't for these allegations. There was the original allegation, and then there was another allegation about 12 other people since 2006 that he was been paying off or whatever. A lot of people are thinking that one of the wrestlers that he paid off was the original Diva Search winner, Christy Hemmings, I believe her name was. She has not been back to WWE since. She has been on TNA, but she's never appeared back in WWE. And one of the people thinks that that's one of the wrestlers, or one of the wrestlers, because there were other people too, other employees, not wrestlers. But one of the allegations was a wrestler, a women's wrestler. And we don't know who it is, but a lot of people think it's Christy Hemmings. But I don't know that for sure. Maybe Jeff Jarrett should take over. No, he's definitely not taking over. Vince McMahon held grudges against Jeff Jarrett, so I doubt that ever happens. It's pretty much the Stephanie McMahon show. She's the chairwoman now. She's co-CEO to Nick Khan, but she's still the chairman or the chairwoman. She's the chairwoman, so she's still above everyone now in terms of running the company. I don't know what's going to happen, but she is in charge essentially. Nick Khan is going to have a lot of influence now because he's in a higher position now, but she's still going to essentially have the final say. And I guess in a sense her husband as well, since her husband is now in charge of talent relations. I was saying they should bring back NXT now with the golden black brand and call it NXT 3.0. NXT 3.0. Stephanie McMahon versus Dixie Carter. Who's worse? Dixie Carter's worse because she was a terrible businesswoman. She ran TNA to the ground. Stephanie McMahon hasn't really ran anything. I mean, she's had jobs in WWE, but she's not been the head of WWE like Dixie Carter was the head of TNA. So she's the head now, but we still really don't know how good Stephanie McMahon will be as chairwoman. right now. It's still up for discussion. So um, we'd have to wait a couple of years before we could really evaluate Stephanie McMahon as a chairwoman or as a boss, because it's too soon right now. So until that happens, until a couple of years go by, we can't really say anything. I'm really, like I said, I'm wondering what's going to happen to a lot of the wrestlers now, how the company changes, shifts. Cody Rhodes, was promised a big push by WWE or by Vince McMahon. He was promised a big push. Got the injury, but it looked like Vince was still going to heavily push him even after he comes back. Don't know if that's still going to be the case now with WWE, unfortunately. Do I think Jeff Jarrett should be the CEO of WWE? No, I do not. I don't know who should be the CEO at this point, but we already know who's going to be it. So, TV 14, we'll see what happens at SummerSlam. But it's big news. It's going to be probably must-see TV now. He does, but I don't think there's any indication that Jeff Jarrett is going to be, getting that type of promotion. It's just not something I could see happen. Let's see. Do we still have it up? Got ads. I add myself. He started TNA, yeah. Yep, he started TNA. He definitely started TNA. But the problem is Jeff Jarrett had to sell it to Dixie Carter because he didn't have the financial implications to keep it going. So, yeah. This is not something he could do. But we'll see. I mean, it's still too young. So many things are going on in the direction of the company. I mean, this is a big shockwave. This is a big shockwave for everybody. Once again, for people who haven't known, Vince McMahon is retiring as the CEO and the chairman of the WWE. It is still unknown whether he is going to be involved with creative still. He is still a major shareholder with WWE and still has the voting power. So it is kind of shocking since he didn't have to kick himself out. He was in charge basically. Still kind of is, even though he's retiring. Also, prior to this big announcement, Triple H was announced to being the executive vice president of talent relations, replacing John Laurinaitis, who I thought was just going to be the fall guy of all this, but apparently it's not just going to be John Laurinaitis. Bruce Pritchard and Kevin Dunn are still in their positions as of right now. We don't know how much forward this will go, but as of right now, they're still there. And what else? There was a meeting at 5 p.m. Eastern Time, like a special board meeting that they did. I don't know how that went, but that was there. And then Brock Lesnar reportedly left SmackDown and reportedly said that if Vince is gone, he is gone. So those are the shockwaves that have happened today when it comes to the WWE. Huge news, and news that is probably going to linger with a lot of people for a long time. What about Shane? Did he like the hardcore wrestling? I'm not sure. Shane would probably be a good CEO, but he's not really involved in the operation. Shane came back as a character. He didn't come back as like someone who was actually working for the company, like, you know, at Titan Tower or whatever. So I'm not exactly sure, but it would be cool. I think he could be a good CEO. I think Shane could definitely be a good CEO. Yeah, guys. That is the reports. Bombshell news. Breaking news. You know, I didn't really want to cover a single video in this. I just wanted to kind of get it out there and just give my thoughts on the stream here. He could come back. I don't know if he will, but he could. But yeah, guys, big news. SmackDown is in about an hour, and I recommend watching it because something's got to be happening with all this. There's got to be a lot of things that are going to be addressed. I'm going to end the stream now. Thank you guys that joined me. And as always, y'all have no chance in hell if this is it for Vince McMahon. That's about it, guys. Hopefully we have a send-out. I don't know if he's going to do something at SummerSlam. He might make an appearance at SummerSlam to do one last hurrah. I don't know. But right now he's not at SmackDown, so we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll have updates as the next couple of days goes on. That is about it, guys. Comment, rate. Make sure to subscribe. Hit that bell for all the latest contents, and that's about it, guys. I am the SS Ultimate Goku, and I'm out of here. Peace.